It all started back on Gallifrey. I was tricked into returning home. A distress call pulling me in, a lie concocted by Rassilon regarding the Master's demise. His lust for power led him to the Gallifreyan vaults containing secrets that must never be told. I freed the Master out of fear that he wasn't the craziest individual that day. He agreed to help me stop Rassilon. This is when I changed. We fought in the graveyard of Eternium on Gallifrey. It's how I lost that last face. I regenerated. I think I'm wearing my 28th face now, but who could be too sure anymore? The Master saved my life. I was placed into an escape pod and sent back to Earth, but I was without my TARDIS. The Master was working on different orders by this point. I was given a TARDIS growth pod on my departure. The journey back to Earth didn't go as planned. The pod burnt up and lost control. The crash was fierce, and if it wasn't for my regeneration, I would have surely died. Sadly, due to the excess energy needed, something was sacrificed. My memories. It wasn't clear who I was, or what my purpose was anymore. So I roamed the Earth. Until I met her. Tabitha. A young university student who, alongside her friends, took me in. I didn't have my memories, but the growth pod guided me. I started constructing a new TARDIS. Tabitha, being inquisitive, found my progress. This is when I gained my first companion. Though the thrill felt short-lived, the Master had followed us to ensure I knew what was to come. He told me my TARDIS would have limits, that I was on a set path without any unplanned diversion. I managed to save Tabitha from this encounter, but nothing was as it seemed. He left me with one key message. Chaos is coming, Doctor, and he wants you. My only grace from this encounter was regaining some key memories. A lot was left to be worked out, though. Tabitha and I travelled for a while until we were separated. I remember waking up in my TARDIS, stuck in some cruel loop, never escaping, never ending, constantly revolving until I met him. Face to face with a creature that would cause me such pain in the near future. Chaot. A descendant of the Pantheon of Discord. A red, shrouded figure holding the cane of Clumpus. The head of the Pantheon. It was his terror trapping me inside my ship. I struggled for what felt like an eternity, but I finally cracked his puzzle and I was freed. The cane was left in my possession, containing Chaot, but it was untouchable. All I could do was contain it. My journey takes a dark turn from this point. Turn away now if you'd like. 80 years had passed since my imprisonment. Due to the limitations on the TARDIS set by the Master, I was put in this cruel limbo to watch my friends die. Death is a gift for many. My curse remains to watch those who are fortunate enough to live life and pass on. Tabitha was gone. I was enraged. In an attempt to escape, I forced the TARDIS to travel in one direction, a 10-year route. But this malfunctioned against the Master's programming and caused the TARDIS to burn up and crash through time. I survived the crash. But where was I? Stranded on a junkyard planet. Refuge as far as the eye could see. Mountains of trash and filth. Except one thing. A diamond amongst it all. Or a person, I should say. This is how I met Esther. A vibrant individual who became stranded, like myself, after losing her time-traveling companion. Things became distinctly more confusing. Esther told me she had lost her doctor. Out of fear of clashing with my future self, I did the responsible thing and fully involved myself. So we travel across the stars to try and find her doctor. But we're constantly redirected. We face all sorts of things. Daleks, Cybermen, the Slovene, Rishi Sunak. But something always seemed to keep us from our objective. Until we crashed on a dystopian planet. The people of Rydal 93, living in poverty and without power. They explain that they have a mission to drill into the planet's core, to harness its power, to repower the planet and bring it back to life. I was so excited to help save the day once again, so I began my calculations. To activate the drill, plugging my TARDIS into the mainframe to give them just enough power they need. But then I'm summoned by the planet's leader to be rewarded. Something didn't sit right. The captain tells us the Doctor Prime Leader is awaiting us on his Parliament ship. I agreed to go, telling Esther this could be her doctor. I couldn't have been more wrong. The Master was there, waiting. Something wasn't right with his look. It was glazed, and he told me chaos was about to descend. The dystopian planet combusted. The drill was a horrible plan to destroy the planet and rid the solar system of its lack of resources. All those people, those children, murdered. Before the rage could consume me, I was transported back to Earth with my TARDIS. He kept Esther. Lost and pushed to my limit, I found the Cane of Crumpus in my TARDIS, and it whispered to me. Told me that I needed to do something, what needed to be done. It said to me, break me, you fool. Time will be reversed. Save those people, stop the evil, and be the hero once more. Something had consumed me. Time Lord victorious. Nothing could stop me. Time was my domain. I dared to step into the realm of gods and made it my sanctuary. The cane exploded. It was all a trick. You see, Chaos gave me the cane all too easily, and he set this all up to happen so that I would destroy it. It was a prison, designed by the Pantheon to contain this rogue personality, and now he was free. He worked quickly. He began puppeting the highest powers across the universe, melding into Rassilon to declare war across the stars. Hope was destroyed, and the Battle of Eternium would begin. Across the starships, planets, and all the different races came to slaughter each other. His power was in full reign. I was without hope. Chaos' plan was to make the Time War look like a tea party, and he succeeded. And then I was snapped out of my misery by the Master. His free will was thankfully restored, and Esther. I was so happy to see her alive. The Master told me there was only one group of people that could help us and stop the war. The Sisterhood of Khan. I found my way to their home, and they spoke of a prophecy about two nigh omnipotent beings fighting for the universe. That only the power of a god could stop chaos. The sisters tell me that I must free Rassilon, as he is the only keeper of the knowledge to stop chaos. Years pass. The wars intensified. Lives lost, and the final chapter was near. Gallifrey became war-torn, as it was at the very centre. History was repeating itself once again. Chaot's consciousness sat above existence as he fed on the pure pain and suffering of the universe, sucking it dry. I hadn't seen the Master and Esther for many years by this point. I learned that the Master took leadership of a cybercruiser, controlling a Cyberman army in the war. When we met, I convinced him to help me get to Rassilon. Esther was kept prisoner, but safe, which is all I could hope for. Myself and the Master faced the possessed Rassilon on Gallifrey. Whilst we battle, Esther tells me that she felt called to the chambers. She could hear his essence bringing her in. She found Rassilon's chameleon arch. He used this to keep himself safe. Freeing him was the first piece of our puzzle to success. I was so filled with rage. Overloading TARDISes and the TARDIS storage caused a big enough explosion to stall the battle. I held Rassilon in my arms as his body degrades. Near death, he shares the final secret. The Staff of Elysium. An object so powerful, it transforms its user into a god. A reality warper. A being above the laws of physics. This staff was designed by Omega himself in an attempt to escape his own universe. The Time Lords gained control before he could escape, and the staff was broken into two halves, the clasp of time and the body of Omega. Only the two together can form Elysium. Rassilon warned me that if I decide to take the staff, I will be bonded to it for eternity, that we will become one. He told me that its user is destined to die. Without choice, I entered the vault. Both the Master and Esther tried to stop me. Consumed by rage, I let nothing stand in my way. I trapped them both in my TARDIS, and I find the clasp of time within the vault itself. And it reveals to me the keeper of Omega's body. Using the clasp's power, I walk through time, back to where I started. The Sisters of Khan. The High Priestess told me to gain the body of Omega, I must lay within his tomb. The Hand of Omega. A powerful conduit with the abilities beyond our knowledge. They had become its keeper. Knowing I'd lose my sanity, I was gifted with the seeing crystals. These crystal-like goggles to help me keep what little autonomy I had left whilst I laid in the hand. My fate was sealed. Voices rushing through my head, whilst the power engulfed me, my past incarnation screaming at me to stop. I made the request to the hand. Give me the staff's body. And as if by magic, the atoms formed in my hand. The staff constructed itself, and I passed out. As I lay on the chambers of the Sisterhood, with the staff, I awakened from my final battle. The sisters, they shudder in fear as I held the clasp near the body. This was it, the choice I needed to make to bind myself to the staff. Time Lord victorious. I will control it all. As they connect, the energy surges through me. As we become one, I will control it all. They connect, and the energy surges through me as we become one. The seeing crystals seared to my skull as I stand upon the Khan planet as a newborn god of the universe. Time stopped. Nothing moved. I felt the turn of the universe, the expansion of time, all in one go, and I blinked. And when I opened my eyes to the battlefield caused by chaos, I walked through fire and decided it was time to end, and chaos appears before me. Out of fear, he begs for my consideration, and I tell him I've decided. And in a last attempt, chaos tries to blow up the solar system. and I was forced to use the staff's full powers to stop it all. The universe was gone, erased. I floated in nothingness. All I could see was white. Maybe this was it, the end, and my time was done. As I laid there in the emptiness of the void, she appeared before me. The staff knew what was needed to be done, so it brought me one person. Tabitha. She smiled at me and whispered, "Doctor, it's not your time." Thank you, Tabitha. As I blink, the staff under my will rebuilds the universe at the point it all started. Rassilon and the Master both stood in the graveyard of Eternium. Esther was returned home. Tabitha, alive and well on Earth. I used the staff's final bit of power to destroy Chaos. But with that, the clasp exploded. The staff was destroyed. The power of the universe left me as I lay in a wasteland ready to die. The Sisters of Khan found me in this resting place and bring me home to Gallifrey. Was it really my time? I was born out of memory loss. I saw pain and suffering that no other doctor has. I controlled the universe and all it had to offer. I was Time Lord victorious. So was this really my end? Some say I died that day, that the Doctor finally let go. Others say I was gifted a second chance by the Sisters to relive this incarnation with my memories, to give it a proper go. But hey, I guess in the end we're all just stories. How about we all make it one worth fighting for? Thank you for listening.